Chosen as a leader in a time where leadership has become a dirty title, tainted by nothing more than fabricated chaos. I was prepared to introduce myself to Mr. Douglas, his crusade across the Atlantic fresh on my mind as I sat on my suitcase to squeeze it shut. But something was missing. Before Frederick left, he rebelled. He cast off the shackles that grew with him from childhood and ran towards learning, towards liberation. Every man's eye in the barber shop was secretly glancing over to me. I sat there under the bright light, faced away from the mirror and fixated on a little boy across the shop calling for his older brother, who was next to me getting his shape up. 10 minutes earlier, I had walked into the shop with a big, dripping wet afro, itching to let go. Each time I am asked why I cut my hair, I give a different answer. I do this because, in my mind, I have infinite reasons. But if I had to give one answer as to why I was sitting in a shop chair that day, it is yearning. The concept of baldness settled into my mind months before. I mulled on it, prayed about it, dreamed about it, then tucked it away. Put it to bed because I thought I could suppress my radical side in favor of the sensible. Be calm and pretty. Frame a small smile with long hair. Thick, tangled curls raked into a bun and tucked away. You are a leader, Meghan. Sit taller, Meghan. They are watching, Meghan. Act right. But this has never been a possibility for me. So as I twisted up my long, kinky curls, that little thought of perfect baldness always found its way to come up from its nap. It followed me out from bed and danced into my living room. The heralding of beauty staggers a person from understanding what more there is than this. Visible beauty, to me, has never been attractive. Riskiness? Now that's something to photograph. Taking a gamble before you can think about the consequences. Refusing to define yourself by either your shortcomings or your blessings. Instead, allowing both to motor your ability to run forward towards feelings of emancipation. Man, that's something to see. And if the path to success involves ignoring those yearnings, then I intend to end a failure. So, I offered my curls as a sacrifice. Their soft screams of resistance muted by the whir of the razor. What grew in times of trauma became no more than bundles collected in my lap. Thick strands colored with years of conditioning stood like trees disturbed in a quiet forest, chopped at the trunk by a woodcutter who stared at the top of my head in his chair, wondering why such a pretty girl would make herself so raw. By then, even the baby was giving me a side eye. I think that rebels search for new beginnings because they bring a fresh set of rules to turn against. I've been exposed in so many ways. I see now that my little ears poke out, my head has a weird shape, and that I'm not who I thought I was. My reflection sees a stranger, not because I look different, but because I realize now who I was becoming. Leadership is a continuous habit. It does not sit still, it does not perform. It tests boundaries. It travels to a different world and allows the experience to be a microscope, exploring its shortcomings and accepting its failures even if it's quietly suffering. It transforms pride into progress, molding itself for a future unknown, a future of emancipation through liberation by refusing the damnation of confirmation. I wonder if Mr. Douglas would approve of my new look. Or my radical acts. Maybe my insatiable desire to get lost, investigating the world and discovering my own self, cutting away at predisposition in favor of new perspectives. Shown new people, tossed into new places, chopped down to size like a tree surrounded by thick greenery, or thicker hair, falling onto waxy, checkered floors. Because without this exposure, without a fresh fade, where's the room for growth?